everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we are going to dive into the world of network enumeration, specifically for targeting the SMB protocol. An SMB protocol is a server message block. It is a classic service that can be a gold mine of information for penetration testers, specifically during the phase of gathering information and enumeration. So the SMB, or the server message block, is a network file sharing protocol that allows applications, users, or computers to read and write and request services such as printing, for instance, from servers on the network. So now, before we start our demonstration, we need two machines. I'm going to use Kali machine as the attacker machine and the Metasploitable as a Linux vulnerable machine. Okay. At first instance, we need to verify whether the two machines are on the same network in order to be able to communicate, to make connection from Kali to the Metasploitable. So let's verify the IP address of the Metasploitable, ifconfig. So as you can see, my Metasploitable is 172.16.46.141, okay, with the subnet mask 3 times 255.0. So let's have a look at our Kali machine as well. That's ifconfig. And I do have 172.16.46, so I have the three first octet or numbers are the same, because we do have the subnet mask 3 times 255. So we are done. So we can start our experiment with regard to our specific enumeration. So now to identify, as I mentioned previously, we said that the first step of any attack is reconnaissance. So we need to confirm that the SMB is actually running on our target. So the tail signs which tell us whether the SMB is open on our target machine is to verify whether the port 139 or port 445 are being used. Okay, so to confirm that, we are going to use nmap, okay, to verify for such open port if they do exist. Okay, and I will specify with -p, which is related to the port 139, and I will also verify 445. Okay, and I'm going to put the IP address of my Metasploitable, which was 172.16.46 and 141. So let's press enter, and if you can see here, we do have the 139 TCP. It is an open mode state, and also the 445 is also open. So now we can configure. We can go to the next phase, where we try to identify or to use our tool, which is the Enum4Linux. Okay, let's now get some idea about how this command works. Okay, let's seek help. Sorry, I just made a mistake. Let's remove that E. Okay, and we go now -h for help to see how the command can be used. Okay, these are some options that can be used with the Enum4Linux. Okay, we have plenty of options, okay, that can work with our file. For instance, if you can see here, I do have the -u, okay, which these are the key flags that we will use later on to get a user list, for instance, the -s as well to get a share list or shares, and we have also the -a option, which will run all the simple checks for our Enum4Linux command. Okay, let's now start by looking at or applying the -u. So we'll go here. Okay, let's go back. Enum4Linux. I'm going to use the -u. If you remember, we said for the -u can be used to list the list of users that can be enumerated from our target machine. And well, okay. Now, if you can see here, we did find many users. We can also use the -s. Okay, using the -u. Okay, excellent. It gives us all the information that we need. Okay, tell us, for instance, let's go back to at the beginning of the result. It tell us the work group name. Okay, this is a work group, which is called work group. It says also servers allows null session, where we can here, for instance, if you can see here, session using username, it is an empty, which means and password empty. We don't need to provide username, we don't need to provide a password, so it is called a null session. So we can remotely access our target machines without providing any username and password. So we're going to use it later and you will see it. And this means that we can connect without any username, just using the -a command, which is considered as a misconfiguration. Okay, and we can get a full list of users. Okay, these are all the users that are stored, okay, inside our victim machines or target machines, which is metasploitable. Among the users we can see here, for instance, we do have the root username, and we can also find the MSF admin, the one that we have used to get inside or to open the metasploitable machine. Okay, now let's find out what shares are available on these servers. Okay, and just to recap or to remind that the shares are the like public or private folders we might be able to access. So we're going to use the -s flag. Okay, like we did with the -u, we're going to just use the -s to list if there are any shares installed on our target machine. Okay, let's just fire on and see what we can get. Okay, so bingo, what you got here, we have a list of shares. Okay, we can, if you can see, let's go back at the beginning. Okay, these are the share name. We see some default administrative shares, like I do have an IPC $, I do have a print $. Okay, but more interestingly, we can see custom shares, which is the temp, which is temporarily, and the opt. And if you can see here for the temp, it says oh no's, because we can get plenty of information, okay, which looks very interesting and might be worth investigating. Okay, so the tool also tried to map them, and it seems we have access to temp. Okay, here we can try, if you can see here, it tries to access the temp, the mapping, and says okay. So which means we can get into the TMP folder on the metasploitable machine. Okay, now while we can run checks individually, what we can do, we can do a comprehensive scan. Okay, comprehensive scan for us, where if we want to use the -a flag that we have found when we looked at the help related to the Enum4Linux machine. Okay, or we can run just a simple enumeration technique. Now let's do something which is interesting. Okay, I will do here, for instance, to get I need to get an idea, to get the big picture about what we are going to do. I'm adding, so I'm going to type, say, the enum with the -a. Okay, with the -a. Then I will pipe it. I will use a pipe. Okay, so I'm adding the pipe T okay, Enum4Linux result, which means here I want the output of my of the result of the Enum4Linux to be outputted to a file that I will name it enum, for instance, enum4Linux, okay, underscore, let's say, results .txt. So we can go back to that file later on and have a full report that will be generated in a second and stored in my specific file, which is the one that I mentioned with the .txt. Okay, so we are done at this step. So now what we are going to use, we we said that the enumeration is great, but how? Let's interact with the server. So we'll use the SMB client, which is like an FTP client for an SMB shares. First, so let's list the shares again. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the following command with SMB client now. Okay, so SMB client, I'm going to use -l, okay, /, so with my target machines, which is the IP address of my metasploitable, then I'm going to use the -n, okay. So now the -l means list, okay. The double slashes before the IP, they are required, and most importantly is sorry, here I forgot to put the -n, okay. The -n, it tells to use no password, which is most importantly that we have learned previously that null sessions are allowed, and this should work, okay. And let's press enter and see what we can get. Command not found. Sorry, I made mistake. Yeah, okay. That's SMB client. Sorry. Okay. The client. Let's press enter. I do have SMB client -l / okay. So we are missing something here. Let's have a look. SMB client. Okay, let's put a capital L. Okay, bingo. So if you can see here, I do have anonymous login successful. So now we got inside our client target machines and we managed to display a list of, let's say, shares that have been used. Okay, so we are in. So let's have a look now. Okay, I'm going to use now. I want to get inside now for the fun part. Okay, of this lab. So let's connect to our suspicious TMP share that we have found. This, okay. The command. So I'm going to use is the SMB client. Now I'm going to be inside. So I'm going to put here SMB client. Okay. So let's have a look. 141. Let's have the TMP then -n. I hope it will work now. If you can see here now, anonymous login successful. Okay, now we are in. So this is a prompt that has been changed to SMB/. So we are now inside our remote TMP share. So we type help, for instance, to show us all the commands we can use. Okay, let's use, for instance, let's type help to see what we can use at this stage. So all these commands can be used, okay, to list, let's say, inside what we have as directory or files. We can use dir or we can use ls, okay. So both will give us all these files that are inside the TMP. Okay. Now imagine now I will go back to Metasploitable, and I just found that inside Metasploitable there is a file called bank account details.txt. Okay. So what I can do, okay, I will try to see the inside of that file. What is inside that file? I have created that file. It is an empty file, but if you want to make it more interesting, when you create this file, make sure that you create that file, okay, like I did in my site on Metasploitable. Try to create the file inside the TMP, okay, inside the TMP folder. So if I list the content of my TMP, so if you can see here, I do have my bank account details.txt that have been created inside the TMP. That's why we can see, and it appears inside the TMP folder. Okay, to have a look at what is inside that file, I'll just type cat, okay, and put the name of our file, bank account details, and I don't have because it is an empty, so we cannot find anything inside it. Okay, now to show the full capacity of the command that we have mentioned, that what we can do. If you see here, I go back to my help, okay, and I have another interesting command, which is put command. Put command will allow you to upload. It's like we do the invert, do the reverse command. Okay, so what we do, we have created inside my Kali Linux, created a file. I called it hack.txt. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload that file. Okay, to upload that file. Okay, so let's go back. Here, let's exit first. Okay, then I will create touch hack file.txt. Okay, I have created that file. Let's list it, see if it has been created. Okay, I do have it here. It has been created. Okay, now what I can do, I can go back, reconnect to my target machine through the SMB client. Okay, okay, okay. Now I got the prompt. Okay, what I will do, I will just put my file, the one that I have just created, okay, which is the hack file.txt. Okay, putting the file hack was at txt. Okay, so the file, if I want to now to visualize, and what I did now, I just uploaded my hack file inside the TMP of Metasploitable. So which means I can now upload any file. It can be a backdoor, it can be a payload to a remote share, which is on my Metasploitable. If I want to verify if it has been uploaded, so just I put ls and see whether my file is there. So if you can see here, my file has been uploaded. Okay, so to conclude, what we have accomplished in this lab, so we used the Nmap to discover the SMB, whether it was if it was running or not. So we used the Enum4Linux to enumerate users, to enumerate shares, system info, discovering we do have a null session. It was allowed. Okay, then we use the SMB client to anonymously connect to a share, download sensitive file from our target machine, and upload one of our own, which was the one we say, and we assume that it contains a payload or it contains a backdoor. So thank you very much. So if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so for more ethical hacking and cybersecurity content from the next lab, inshallah.